All right, what's good, everybody? Today's PA was pretty chill. I just want to quickly run through this, look at the trade I wanted to take, why I didn't take it, and then it ended up playing out. So just building some conviction on that. Overall, a pretty good day of price action, completely honestly. This is the sneak peek, and we'll hop into it in a second. Right? I'm gonna leave the charts completely marked out because I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So on the bigger time frame, we were obviously like what we want to talk about, like first top-down bias. We're obviously super bearish, right? So checking out what's happening, big SMTs, like literally probably 1, 2, 3, 4 SMTs at these highs. If we look after making those, we see the spark of a sell-off, right? So 15-minute is really showing us right here. We see this is our manipulation. We come back, relative equal highs placed in, right? Not the best, but then from there we start to see price selling all the way lower, pulling back higher, selling lower again. And then we're not really the most convicted on the short bias until I see this in the overnight session. We break past this level, right? So that's around 5:15 a.m. Huge down close candle. Now looking at this easily looks like our displacement past this level. It looks like we're targeting the rest of this right here as a draw, right? So now if we want to mark out our original manipulation leg, which is right here, just this huge CPI candle, that whole leg right there is bringing our -2 standard deviation to pretty much exactly right around where we want to stop for the day, right? So -2 is perfectly aligned with this low. I like that. So now opening the market, what we end up seeing is we're starting the market right on here, right? We have Asia, our minute open levels right above here. So pulling that out, minute open was like chilling somewhere up here, right? So somewhere like right here. I don't know why it's such a, I guess it is, but they're just overlapped, right? So minute open shown right here. So if we want to run that higher, we can. But given this internal 5-minute structure, I really don't want to, right? Why is that? Because we're bouncing, right, just off of this low. We have these 1, 2, 3 lows right here that I really want to see get taken. All of this low resistance liquidity right here. I want to see this act as our draw. So when the market, pre-market, right, we don't have any news going into open, but we see market is placing this SMT right here. I'll show you guys ES just to show you, right? We see push higher into this fair value gap, right, into equilibrium of this range. And then from there, we see an SMT at equilibrium. That's good because my SMT is not just at a random point. It's number one in line with the draw for what I want to see. And it's also at equilibrium, at a point which I expect to reject potentially, right? So I see my SMT right here at equilibrium. I also see price after it puts in that SMT, we start selling through this low, right? So we sell through, we place in this high, and then we start to consolidate right around there where the change in the state is and where that high is. So that means we could potentially look for turtle soup opportunity, right? So this is the pre-market trade. And if this happened even a minute into open, I would have been taking this. I just am not convicted taking a trade before open because not really in my experience, but just the facts are that while the market's going to do what it has to do based on its action, right? There's just a really good chance that it's going to stop you out and then make the move. So I'm always just erring on that little less risky bit of a side to just continuously get those good reps in, right? So this right here becomes your turtle soup. And then from there, I'm just waiting for that 1-minute continuation model right here because this is confirming our trend. So we now have 3 overlapping models, right? We have this bigger time frame model all the way lower to here. We have this as a 5-minute model right here. And then we have this internally as a continuation to this low. And this is why I go break even. And then we trade to here, right? So we see price the way, like say this was like 935, I would have been looking to get involved fair value gap probably, and then stop somewhere like right here. And then just looking for right here and then maybe a little more like standard deviation, right? So we can mark that out of our 5-minute leg. So we can like look right here, -1. Like honestly, like in this situation when there's not a clear one, I like to mark out a couple and just see where's a good point to take it to that's in line with an RR that I want to get, and as well just multiple things, right? So I probably would have taken most to here and then finally to like 3.5 to 4 because this is our true 1-minute manipulation. So if this wants to play, right, we can definitely see this get hit. And then this is pretty much where we end up stopping. And obviously, like I'm drawing 10 different lines on my chart and one's going to stop, right? But it does give us a little bit more confidence, in my opinion, to see price do what we want to see it do, right? So that's why I use standard deviation like that. If you trade this to 3.5, I think it just barely edges you. So that's kind of L. But yeah, so overall, this was the best short of the entire day, period, right? But it's just pre-market. I'm not wanting to take advantage of that. And yeah, so from there, market plays around. We go take this low. Now we make this big push higher, right? So at this point, I honestly think that, let me tell you guys a little truth about the market, right? This setup as a long to midnight open can play. Like it really can, right? We can get tapped here and then this can play all the way fast out of nowhere, right? Because this is peak hours of market volatility. We can easily manipulate lower and run if we want to. and then go target midnight open, and then from there we can either consolidate or sell off, right? It all depends what the market wants to do. And I know there's people that took this long this morning thinking it was clean and they got stopped out, right? No problem. But on a day where longs play and it's the same kind of setup, like there's been days where I don't take longs because I don't think it's high probability like today, but this exact setup will play where we're overall bearish, but we make a really nice manipulation and push higher, then we trade to whatever draw it can be, right? That shit will happen and it will play out, right? And people will take the trade and bank, and then people will be like, bro, how did you know what's going on? Like, oh my gosh, such a good trader. Your drawn liquidity is always right. How'd you know that? Like, everything was against it and then you saw it. But it's just the truth of like, sometimes setups are going to be lower probability and people are going to take them and they're going to play, bro. So if you took the long, if that was your prediction, I don't really think it's that bad. From there, right, this just becomes once again another turtle soup. Now, if there was some type of SMT right here, I would have been like, if we had turtle soup right here and then we see SMT right here on this, that was something I'd definitely be interested in. Or if we did something like turtle soup once again, but now you have an SMT like this, that's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to get involved once I see closure through this fair value gap, right? So if we see price then pushes lower, we try to hold a little bit of this first presented right here, but then we just end up flushing through it. So like a way I could have traded this would definitely have been get involved here at this candle and then place, because that's inversion of this fair value gap and first presented, and then stop like right here, break even right here, and then I'm looking for continuation to wherever I think, and that can be first take profit or break even. I mean, 1-to-1's okay, and then definitely I can look for the rest of this right here, right? But then holding past that, ooh, just barely doesn't get edge, just barely get edge, right? So that's what pretty much happens the whole morning session. From here, the only other opportunity that I liked throughout the day was right here. I'll show you guys. Here on NQ, right? What happens is we come down and we take both of these lows. So I'll show you guys the bigger time frame right here. We come down, we take both of these lows. At this point, I'm expecting, really, I really don't want to take shorts anymore, but market is going to be, it's number one, it's bearish, right? So even if we didn't take the low, we still have potential possibility to take a really nice internal short because the bigger time frame is just so bearish, right? So what I see NQ do is after taking that low, SMT gets placed in. We can check out ES, it's the same thing. We get a big push higher back into the range after taking that level. And we definitely seem to have SMT, right? So SMT right here was, let's see, do we, where is that? We almost, I think we pull back into first presented here on ES. Almost take this high. This is what I'd probably want to see is my SMT. So no SMT, right? But we see NQ in terms of this whole range that we just created in the morning session, pull back to around equilibrium and tap OTE, right? So we tap OTE, we start to reject from there. We place a small internal SMT right here. That's a good sign, right? And someone definitely did bang this short out in the morning. But the reason I didn't take this, like I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, this is a fine setup. But the reason I'm not taking it is just because I know how price prints, and I know that this big of a manipulation higher with this kind of low confluence of a turnaround is not my best opportunity. I would definitely want to see some type of inverse fair value gap or some type of fair value gap get open before I'm entering, bro. Like completely honestly, I want to see more than just this, right? So that's why I think the second entry opportunity was okay, right? So what I see is price runs down out of nowhere, right? Big move lower. Keep in mind, there's no real good market structure shift. Like, so if you simplify this to a line chart, this is just straight up, straight down. Like I would want to see something like this, right? Where we're even we can make this big move, but I want to see this get rebalanced and then this. Then if we saw that, I would 100% have been in this all the way lower, right? At that point, it's a good opportunity. But since we haven't even made a low and displaced through it yet, maybe the small one, it's not good to me yet because we can just be rebalancing to OTE of this range and then placing this SMT and running higher, right? So what price ends up doing though is we end up using that SMT to rebalance this fair value gap. And this is what I had marked on my chart, but I didn't have conviction to take it simply because there was no great market structure shift, even though we had invalidated all these fair value gaps. And even on the 5-minute, I think we invalidated that. We made an inverse right here. Let's see, just barely. I think that's like to the tick inverse, right? Or just barely, right? Still barely holding on to it. So it's kind of you can go either way with it. I don't think it's bad if you took this, but the entry I would have taken right here is equilibrium pullback because we just have way too much risk to get involved at like this fair value gap stop up here. Doesn't make sense to me, right? So I would have definitely looked for equilibrium. And if you see right here, it was crazy accurate on this setup. So equilibrium right here, and then I probably would have placed stop at like this high because once we go past that, the model's either going to be inefficient or completely invalid, right? And this was a banger, bro. So you could have traded this, and this is where I marked out some extra draws. From here, we can go down to take this 2.5 standard deviation. And then finally, as a bit of like a final draw, is our previous new week open gap starts right here. And these all just bang, 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 bang. But past 1050 right here, once I see 1110 macro do literally nothing, there's no way I'm hopping into a setup. And even like here, you see this starts to be a potential pullback, and then we make a small displacement with no really good smart money reversal, and time and price is not aligned. And then from there, price just rapes that stop loss and then goes up and then does it once more. So, I mean, this short opportunity ends up having a little bit better structure internally. Like this wasn't even bad to take if you get involved somewhere in here and then you're shorting to new lows right here. I don't think this is even bad, completely honestly. Like, dude, yeah, this is fine. But I definitely see a ton of inefficiency from 1050 on, right? So that's why I'm only wanting to trade these initial 2 hours of the day. And then if I'm involved here, I can hold through these levels because my entry is at break even and I'm just sitting here waiting for Chop to show me what I want it to show me. So I don't mind sitting here waiting, doing literally nothing. And I'm completely fine with that, right? So at the end of the day, bro, I thought today's price action was pretty chill. I just didn't get the type of confirmation that I wanted to see on the setup. It's not something to lose conviction over. Like in my past days, bro, I would see a day like this and I would make a prediction like this in class and I'd be like chilling and I'd be like, yo, all right, let's see if this plays. It would play, but I wouldn't trade it and I would feel bad for some reason. When you have to like look at your own mind and the mental games that you play on yourself and say like, bro, what am I doing? Like in what world is this bad? I made a prediction and I didn't take it because I thought that it was beneath my identity as a trader. It's not a good enough setup for me to take. So I didn't take it. It ends up playing, right? Like, no, if you really weigh it out logically, that should just show you that you're such a good trader. Like, if you want to use the same monkey logic, it should show you that you're such a good and high standards trader that even the opportunities that you don't fully commit to still play out, right? That's kind of where we want to be, right? And you're going to eventually see that the opportunities you decide to commit to because your standards are so high are the ones that play out. And when there's no opportunities that are good to commit to, you just don't trade, bro. We have everything right today, but there was no high probability way to insert ourselves within this whole big down move. Right? I knew this was going to play out, but there's no high probability way to insert myself. So I don't care and I don't trade it. Like, it's really that simple, guys. It's really that simple. I thought all the setups today were pretty chill, completely honestly. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, from the day of price action. I want you guys to get the skill of being able to say no and say yes to yourself and listen to your own intuition as a trader. Because, bro, once you've been trading for like 8 months and you've been trading one strategy, one understanding of the market, and you've been just disciplined developing that for like 8 months, bro, use your own intuition. You have it, right? If you're getting on the charts every single day, you have intuition. Use it. Don't feel bad when you miss a setup. And if you do miss a setup that you go back and say, like, yeah, that was pretty good, I probably should have taken that. Figure out why. Don't just be mad at yourself for not taking it, bro. Like, figure out what happened and use that to your own advantage, bro. Use that to your own advantage, dude. So that for the I'm gonna let you boys go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that for the I'm gonna catch you boys later. So peace out.